Welcome back to our podcast, Redeemed. We're going to go back and catch up on a bit of a subject that we kind of glossed over and kind of forgot about for the moment. And I just kind of want to talk about it because I believe it's an important concept and truth to go back and look at. Here recently we had the Sanctity of Life Day.
Yeah.
Which was something that President Bush put into effect several years ago.
I'll tell you.
The date is eluding me.
Several years ago.
It was several years ago.
It was a while since he's been president, so...
I wanted to say like 10 years, but I'm like, I'm not sure.
Right?
Been a lot longer than that.
That literally cannot be correct.
So we went with several, because like I said, I haven't checked I read the date, but it didn't stick with me. And it was something that he put into play, and it's just, it's something pretty cool, yeah, I think.
I didn't know it was a thing.
So let's get our facts correct.
Go for it.
It was not Bush. It was Reagan.
Was it Reagan?
It sure was. Reading it right here. It was Reagan in 84.
Several years ago.
So about 10.
That was interesting because
I rounded it to 10.
Because the article I read said it was Bush.
Recognizing the sanctity of human life, January 13th, 1984, President Ronald Reagan issued a proclamation.
What source is that?
Portland.
Interesting. I'll have to go back
Pregnancy
and look where I got my source.
Care Center.org.
Okay, that seems like it would check
Yeah,
out.
I would go with that.
I will also look it up.
And Sanctity of Life Day is actually January 22nd.
January 22nd, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We missed, yeah.
No, I have all the facts in front of me here, so I'm hitting them all.
Sanctity of Life Day, January 22nd. Yep.
So, nice try, President Bush. You didn't start
You didn't do it. Yeah, Ronald Reagan.
All right. Well, that's even better, because then it's been there even longer. That's
1984.
Now, President Bush must have done something or said something
His successor,
about it.
George H.W. Bush, continued the annual
Yeah.
proclamation throughout his presidency.
There we go. Throughout his.
So it was the proclamation that he did.
Yes.
Anyway,
And
because
then
that was
George Bush continued, the next
Yeah.
George Bush then
Yeah.
resumed it because the next president didn't do it.
Because I read some of the words that he said, and it was pretty cool, because it's like I think it was just telling you guys that our presidents just don't talk like that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And so it was just cool.
Yeah.
But sad at the same time, because you kind of get this feeling of,
It's not where we're at.
going down.
Uh-huh.
Downhill.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We've had some good things happen on that front. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
But I just think it's important, very important, and I think it's very important to the Lord. And I think sometimes we forget just how special people are to God. I mean, you can back up all the way to the garden and understand that in some way we're going to be special to Him because we are made in His image.
Right.
Yeah.
So why would God create something in His image that He didn't care about?
It would be weird.
Otherwise, we'd look like dogs or cats or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Because those were not made in God's image. You know what I'm saying? But there was something special about us. I mean, He took time. He created us, and He made each of us different. And
intricate details.
And I think sometimes we forget that. And I really feel like America has moved away from that. I mean, you can talk about the topics of abortion. Absolutely, there's a mass killing going on there. But I mean, you can even take it as far as these school shootings and the murders that you see going on just on a daily basis.
Yeah.
All spring from this lack of sanctity of life, seeing life as precious.
Absolutely.
And now we and it's like in a lot of these situations, we don't even see them as people. They're just something. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And so I think it just begs to go back and to just talk about for just a few moments. One of the verses that always comes to mind when you're talking about this, of course, there's the Jeremiah verse that comes in that basically says that He had a plan for Jeremiah. In Jeremiah 1:5, talks about how He had a plan for Jeremiah even before he was born. Not even that, but before he was even conceived. Exactly. He had a plan for Jeremiah.
Yep.
And
no surprises.
And to me, that's phenomenal in itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That God can see all those little details, and He knows that this person is going to do this for him, and it's just awesome. But if you go to Psalms 139, in verse 13 it says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. And I just say that verse, you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yep.
We are special and we are precious to God. And not just adults, but the babies and everything in between.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes we need to back up and to refocus and go, these people in my life are precious to God. They should be precious to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Granted, I had an experience here relatively recently where I came face to face with this truth.
Mm-hmm.
And after it, I really began to understand and see that these are precious to God. People
Yes.
are just precious.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to refocus and just, not to throw people away, but understand that we have sin in this world, yes, and there are some evil people, but they're still precious to God.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I need to be about sharing His word with those people so that they have that eternity.
Yes.
But at the same time, just from the aspect of, because, a lot that surrounds the Sanctity of Life Day is about the abortion issue.
Mm-hmm.
And people have this issue with it's a woman's right versus, the child's right, basically. Yeah. And to me, after having multiple kids, I don't understand how you can say that it's not alive.
Yeah.
Correct.
It floors me.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the miscarriage we had with the kid at 4 months, just about 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
it had fingers, toes, mouth, eyes. It was a human
A
being.
heartbeat.
Correct.
It had
Very
a heartbeat.
early on.
Right. Yes. And so to tell me that it's not alive, that's just impossible for me to grasp.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I believe that as Christians, we need to do everything we can to protect those young lives.
Yes.
And what does that look like? As I was sitting down and trying to figure out what that means, it's like, it means that we can't always just bury our head when it comes to politics.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of things that when it comes to politics that the sanctity of life curtails on.
Yeah.
And a lot of the policies that some of these people put into law do damage
Oh, yeah.
to the sanctity of life. And so we can't just bury our head in the sand and say, well, there's nothing we can do. I'm just not going to. No. We got to make sure that we're doing the least we can to vote and to try to get those things into play that protects those young kids.
Absolutely. We can always pray more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And and if somebody has questions about it, we need to explain to those why they're wrong in that area.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I just think it's extremely important, especially with the way our country, and it's not just our country, it's all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look everywhere, the stats I was seeing and this was even several years ago, that this person that I was reading about, he took all of the different wars that we fought throughout history, and the death toll of all those wars did not even come close to what the death toll of babies is.
Yes.
Matter of fact, it's the death toll in babies is about 6 times as much in a year.
Yeah.
It was in the millions.
Yes.
And that's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
Very much.
And so we just need to be, and sometimes it's not in the forefront of what we're doing. And that's why this Sanctity of Life Day is really cool, because it gives us a minute to put those things back in front of us.
Yes.
And understand some of the things that we're fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And if you take Jeremiah, where he says that he had a plan for Jeremiah even before he was born,
Yes.
how many of God's plans have been snuffed out because of abortion? Because these people, God had plans for these people, but they weren't allowed to because they were snuffed out before.
Right.
I mean, it just floors me.
It's mind-boggling.
It is, absolutely. And the term is there's going to be hell to pay. I believe there is. In every sense of that term, there's going to be hell to pay.
Literally.
Yes. So, anyway, sanctity of life, you are all precious to God, no matter which phase of life you're walking in, whether it be baby, adult, kid in the middle, whatever. You are precious to God, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and He has a plan for you.
Amen.
So. Yep.
Disperse.
Fearfully and wonderfully made. He loves you very much. Y'all guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.